Hey folks, it's Stephan here with something a little bit different for the channel. Going to be playing a couple games in Tabletop Simulator that are just card games, solo card games. First one is Friedman Fries's Friday, and this is a solo adventure put out by Rio Grande Games. And basically you are Friday, and you're trying to help Robinson Crusoe improve his ability to survive and eventually fight some pirates. Now you might be wondering, where is the Pathfinder Adventure card game episode for Wrath of the Righteous? And the answer is that I have tried that scenario, Vengeance at Sundered Crag, about 7 times. I've even changed some of the roster and haven't been able to succeed at it yet, and I've just run out of time. I wanted to get something up for you to watch, and I've been wanting to play these games anyway. I've had Friday for a long time sitting in my living room and just have never opened it, and then I was like, well, it's in Tabletop Simulator, so it's really easy to play in that, so why don't I just do that? And that's what we're going to do today. There are 3 phases. And the first phase here is relatively easy, and then it gets more difficult. So as you go through this deck here, which are the things that you'll encounter that you have to overcome, each time you go through, the phase changes, and then you reshuffle this. Now you can earn cards out of this deck to put into your deck to make Robinson better. One of the things we're going to do is take this very stupid card out. These go on the bottom, and these go on the top. Now this is the aging pile. So every time you run through your deck of cards and you need to reshuffle it to put it back to draw from, you have to add an aging card into there. And those are only negative effects. It makes you sort of worse as you get older, which is an interesting idea. Then we've got the pirate cards. So we have to draw 2 of these in order to start the game. And these will be the end result of playing. Pirates would cost 40, and then 2 hazard points for each aging card. So for the more aging cards that exist, these pirates get more difficult. Okay, then we're going to shuffle this deck. First I'm going to show you what's in here though. So you don't start off with much. We've got 1 focused, got weak, weak, -1, -1, weak, weak, -1, weak, and there's another focused. And then there's the Genius card, and then another -1, another focused. So not a lot of positive cards in here. So you start off pretty much useless. And what we're going to be doing is working on getting rid of those cards from the deck and replacing them with better cards from here. And so this is how you play the game. You just draw 2 cards off of this deck, and these are your challenge cards. And we've got 2 options here. We've got Wild Animals, which is allows us to draw 4 cards for free, and since we're in the green phase, it's a difficulty of 4, so we need to get 4 fighting points in order to beat that one. This, with the Raft to the Wreck, you only get to draw 1 card, but you need 0 in order to succeed at this. And then you would get this card, it would come into your deck, it would be this side that you'd get. So it would be 0 fighting power, but it would give you this ability that you could use to give you +1 life. Whereas this one, if you beat it, would give you 3 fighting power and sort 3 cards. What we're going to do probably is try the Wild Animals, because the reward's a big payoff. If we fail it, you'll see how that works, and then we can get rid of cards that are no good or that we don't want. So draw the first card. Oh, well, we got Genius. So this is currently our best card that we have. So that's 2 points toward the 4 that we need. And then we get Weak, so on our second card. And Weak again, and Weak for a 3rd time. Okay, so now we've drawn the 4 cards for free. We only have 2 to 4 right now. So if we were to end with this result, we could get rid of, for starters, we'd lose 2 life points. For each life point that we lose, we could get rid of one of these weak cards, and then just removed from the game until the next time you play it. So that's not too bad. I mean, we're not going to get this, but we could get rid of 2 of these cards that are not beneficial at all. Alternatively, we can spend life to draw other cards from our deck. We know that there are some other focus cards in there, but the odds of encountering 2 of them aren't great. So like, to spend 2 life to maybe find those 2 cards, not very good odds. I'd rather spend that 2 life to deal with this, failing this, and then get rid of 2 of these. So that's what we're going to do. Spend 2 life. Now we're going to take 2 of these weak cards, and we're going to put them over here. So those are just out of the game now. The Wild Animals goes away. We didn't earn that. But these go back into our discard pile. So we still have 1 weak card that we didn't get rid of. But that's okay. We got rid of 2. So now we draw the next 2 cards. We've got Cannibals, and we've got Raft to the Wrecked. So we pretty much are guaranteed that we are not going to be able to score 5, but we can probably get rid of a bunch of bad cards. So we're going to go for that one. We get to draw 5 with this. Okay, there's 1 focus, but there's -1 for distracted, so this offsets that +1. Another -1. Okay, this is not really that good, because now we're going to lose potentially a lot of life. So now we're at -1 to get 5, and we get a weak, and now we're at -2 to get a 5, which would be 7 points of damage to us. It would be 7 points of damage, but we could also get rid of all these distracted cards. It's a heavy price to pay, but that's what we're going to do. Take 7 points of damage. Okay, we'll keep the focused card, but we'll get rid of the other 4. You can get rid of 1 of these for each damage that you take. We're going to keep focused, though, because that one's at least beneficial for us. But these go away. Cannibals goes back into the discard, and we are on to the next challenge. Okay, we get Cannibals again. Now, that didn't work out so well last time, and our life total is kind of low at this point. So I'm going to skip Cannibals, and we're going to do With the Raft to the Wreck. Now, remember, we only need 0 to succeed at this. We can only draw 1 card, though. But we draw Weak, which means we get this card, which is going to add in Mimicry, which lets us copy a card. It still has a 0 fighting power, but it lets us copy a card, so that's potentially a useful thing. So these will come into here, and we'll go on to the next challenge. Further exploring the island, and further exploring the island. So it'll come down to which one of these we want. This lets us sort 3 cards in our deck into any order that we want, and this lets us exchange something. They're both 2 fighting power. I think we'll take the sorting. So this requires a fighting power of 2, but we get 3 cards to see if we can achieve it. So we got Eating, but this gives us +2 life. So we're going to tap this to get 2 life. This comes out of here. Didn't give us any fighting power, though, so now draw another one. Now we're weak, and we're weak again. Okay, so right now we're not succeeding at this. We could offset those 2 life that we just lost, and then ditch 2 of these weak cards, which I think is what we'll do. And we're going to keep the Eating. This goes away. Now on to the next challenge. Further exploring the island is 3 cards, or we can do the raft. Let's go for the 3. So we need 2 points to win this. Alright, there's focus, so we're at 1 point. -1, distracted. So now we're at 0. And -1. So now we're at -1. We don't have probably a very good chance of getting this, even if we were to spend life. So we're at -1, which would give us 3 that we can get rid of. So we can get rid of both of these distracted cards, but we are going to take 3 points of damage in the process. Get rid of the distracted cards. We'll keep the focus for now. Eventually we'll want to start ditching those too, because they won't be good compared to other things. We got weak, and we got focused. Okay, so we're going to keep the weak because it was part of this play, but we are going to pick up this +2 weapon, so that's a good thing. As we're going to go over here. Now we're out of cards here in our draw deck, and we still have challenges to go through. So now we have to pull in one of the aging cards and shuffle that into our deck. And remember, these aging cards are always bad. So we're going to encounter something that's worse than we've seen so far. Okay, we have With the Raft to the Wreck and With the Raft to the Wreck. So what do we get? We can either do a food +1 life, or we could do, and then 2 exchange, which lets us take 2 of the cards that we've played into the free side, and then pull 2 replacement cards out. Up to 2. I don't think you actually have to do 2. But they're both 0 for fighting costs, which is not super. We'll go with the food because it's +1 life, and as you can see, we're getting quite down there on life. We only get to draw 1 card, and unfortunately it was the aging card that we just added. Stupid. So it's -2 now. Well, that's actually not too bad, because this challenge was 0. We're at -2, which means we're going to take 2 points of damage, but we're going to be able to get rid of this aging card, so that's out now. We need to be concerned about our life. We're down to 6 life. We've got to start making some of these, basically, is what we need to do. I'd prefer to go for the food. We get 2 cards to do it. We get weak, and we get weak, which is not good. I'm going to pay a life to draw another card into the other side. And there we go. We got focused. So we're going to pick up food, but we're going to keep those weaks as well. On to the next challenge. Exploring the island and wild animals. Wild animals gives us a 3 fighting card, +1 exchange, and this gives us Mimicry, which lets us copy something and still gives us 1 fighting power. we have a better chance of picking up mimicry, but as the game gets more difficult, and we're getting down in this deck, we've only got 6 more turns to go through here, then that would go to a 7. It's much more difficult. So having a useful item like this would really help. So we're going to try for that one. We get to draw 4 cards. Okay, we get mimicry. So if we get a better card, we can use mimicry. So we've got focused now, and we've got weak, and we have weak eating +2 life. So we'll use the +2 life, and we can use mimicry to copy focused, which will give us 2. So now we're at 2 to 4. And so if we fail at this point, then we can get rid of both of those weaks. So that's what we're going to do, spend those 2 life that we just gained. This goes over here, and these go back into our pile. And the next 2 challenges come up. Exploring the island and raft to the wreck. Okay, so this would give us equipment +2 cards, which allows us to draw 2 additional cards for free. That's really quite a good one. And this is 1 double, so you can double the value of something. I think we'll go for the raft one, even though that's a 0 fighting cost. That +2 cards really helps. Okay, so there's focused. We've already won this challenge, so we'll take that one. On to the next. Exploring the island and wild animals again. How many cards do we have? We only have 2 cards, so we're going to be shuffling everything in here, plus adding an aging card if we go for that. Or we can go for this one, which we only have to draw 2 cards for. And this lets us put 1 card below the pile and then replace it. That's not a bad one. Draw 2 cards to get a 1. Okay, there's genius, so we'd get this. On to the next challenge. Exploring the island again or the raft. So this is 2 times exchange, and this is food. So we're going to go for food. So we only need 1 to beat this, and we get to draw 2 cards. The first one is a weapon, and so that's enough to do this. So we're going to snag that. And now we've run out of deck again, so we've got to pull another aging card and put that in there. And we're still not through the first phase, but we're getting quite close. Only 3 turns left now. Further exploring the island for both. We get a +1 card with experience or a double. We'll go with the +1 card. So we get to draw 3 cards to succeed at this. There's a focused and there's a food. So this is going to give us a +1 life, which we can use right now. So we use that. And that's 2, so that's enough to succeed at this challenge. Next challenge is exploring the island or further exploring the island. This gives us +1 life, and this is a weapon for 2. I think the fighting costs are the same, so I'm going to go for the +1 life. Okay, we still have a weak card in there, and that's too bad. We do have eating, so we're going to get 2 life for this, but it's still a 0 otherwise. So now we're at 0 to get a 2, and only 1 more draw. Okay, and we got fortunate there. We got the weapon, but that means we're going to keep these 2 zeros in there. This is not probably ideal. And these are the last 2 challenges before we go to the next phase. So we've got wild animals and exploring the island again. This would give us realization, which lets us destroy a card, which basically lets you remove a negative effect while it's in play. And this is destroy as well. So let's go for the big one. Let's see if we can get the wild animals. Get to draw 4 cards. There's 1 focused. There's a weak again. There's genius. So now we're at 3. We get 1 more card, and it is not only is it enough to win, but it also gives us 1 more life. So we're going to do that. We're going to get all these. Still have those weak cards in there, which would be nice to get rid of. All right, so now we're in phase 2. So now we'll be looking at the yellow dots for the costs for these things. So next 2 challenges, exploring the island and wild animals. So now, see, wild animals has gone up to 7, and I don't know that our deck has improved enough to really get us there. So we're going to do exploring the island, which gets us 2 cards. So there's 1 and 1x below the pile. So if the next card is bad, we can replace it. This is equipment, actually. So this would give us 2 cards. So we're going to tap that to use that. Pull 2 cards out. So there's another 1. So we're at 2 right now to get a 3. And we got a negative thing. This is the card that was added by the aging pile. And this says highest card is 0. So that would make one of those cards 0. But what we're going to use is deception. So 1x below the pile. So we use this ability. We're going to put this below the pile. Oh, and it's already time to add another aging card in. So now we know we're going to have 2 aging cards in there. Now we're still drawing 1 more card, I believe. Yeah, we're drawing to replace the one that we just put below the pile. Okay, we got 3. So now that means we did win this challenge. So we're going to keep all these and earn this one. On to the next challenge. With the raft to the wreck for both, they're both 0s, which we're not going to care too much about, but you do get a food from it. So it doesn't matter which one we pick, they're the same. We get 1 card and we get 0, eating. But that gives us 2 life if we use the ability, so we will do that. So we earned these. And the next challenge. With the raft to the wreck, and with the raft to the wreck again. And they're, again, both zeros. So we've got 2 times exchange or 1 below the pile. I'm going to go with the 2 times exchange. So now for this one... Oh, I just did that wrong, didn't I? I'd been looking at the yellows. Okay. I'm so used to looking at the greens that I got that wrong. That should have been a 1. Well, we'll have to correct it from now on. Okay, here we get a 2. We needed a 1, so we make that. We don't need the +1 card ability from it. Next challenge. With the raft to the wreck for both again. So we've got 1 destroy or 2 times exchange. I think we'll go with 2 times exchange. So we need a 1 with 1 card, and we get a 1. And we are also going to use this to give us 1 life. 2 more challenges coming up. Further exploring the island and further exploring the island. So this is 1 double. And this is sort 3 cards. I like sort 3 cards better, I think. So we need a 5 to beat this with 3 cards. There's 1. There's a focused. There's a focused. Sort 2 to get a 5. 3. Plus we can use this to get 1 life. So now we're at 3, but we still need a 5. So we're going to get a life. We're going to spend a life to draw a card on the other side. Oh, and it's weak. So that really didn't help. So we're going to try again. We're still at 3 to get a 5. And there's a 2. And we can tap this to get 1 life back. So we've got the 5 now. So we earn this, and unfortunately we still keep that weak in the game, but that's okay for now. Let's see what the next challenge is. Exploring the island or cannibals. Okay, cannibals is 9. I don't think I'm probably strong enough to get to be a 9 right now. It's also the case that it's going to go up even more. We're pretty close to getting to the end of this. Can we score 9 points? I don't know. But I guess we should try, because that 4 weapon is what we really need. We get to draw 5 cards, so there's 2. 0, highest card goes to 0. Okay, so that's a really negative effect right there. And then we get weak, then we get genius. So now we're standing at 2. We need a way to get rid of that scared card. And then we get scared again, so now we're at 0 points. This could be really bad, because these cannibals are going to do 9 points of damage to us. But we'll be able to get rid of this stuff too, so... I guess that's what's going to happen. So that's 1, 2, 8, 9. Almost all of our life there. So we can get rid of everything bad here. Because this costs 2 to get rid of. This one costs 2 to get rid of. This one costs 1 to get rid of. And we're going to keep those other 2. Because these are actually good. Cannibals goes away. We need to add another aging card. So that's up to 20 cards in our deck now. And we just got rid of 2 of the aging cards, so that's good. Next challenge is further exploring the island and wild animals. Okay, so 7 or a 5. This has a +1 card and 3 fighting costs. This is 1 destroy. I think we're going to go for the wild animals. Try for a 7. It's risky because we don't have much life left. Okay, we just got some life. We get genius, so it's 2 for 7. This is mimicry, which we're going to use on genius. So now we're sitting at 5 to get 7. And we get 1 more card. And this is strategy, 2 exchange. Well, 2 exchange, I don't know if that's going to help us or not. Let me see, I got to look that up. So even though we've used eating already, I can pull this one out. And I can put this in the discard pile and then exchange it for this one, which is +2. So now we had the mimicry, so we were at 5, and now we've got 2, so that's 7, which means that we do succeed at this, and we get that 3 fighting card. On to the next challenge. With the raft to the wreck and exploring the island, well, we don't want any 0 fighting cards in here, so we're going to go for this one. We need to get a 3 with 2 cards. Oh, and very tired. So this is 0 and stop, which I think basically means we don't get to continue drawing cards. I haven't seen stop before, so let me look that up. This card stops your drawing of free cards. So that means we're going to be at -3. That would allow us to get rid of this at least. Get rid of those aging cards. It's always a good thing. But now we're really down on life, so we really need to start drawing some life cards. Okay, cannibals would be probably deadly. So we will go for with the raft to the wreck, even though 0 fighting points. But what it does give us is this phase -1, which we can use to reduce the challenge level. So we only get 1 card here, and we need a 1. We get a vision card, which gives us 2. So we do make this challenge. And actually, I can use this ability to sort 3 cards. So we're going to use that first. I can pull out 3 cards. Okay, there's food, there's a weapon, a 2 exchange. All right, well, I guess I'm going to keep them in the order that they were in. We need that food card. So these 2 go together, gets added to the deck. Next challenge coming out. And it's wild animals or exploring the island. So it's a 3 or a 7. Well, we really do need this bigger value, but it's, let's see, we know that one of the cards here was going to give us a life, and then there was going to be a 2, but that was a 0. Yeah, so I think we might be able to make this one. Oh no, hold on, that doesn't make any sense. This is the one to go for right now, given our life point total. Okay, we're going to spend this immediately to get a life. Then we get the second card, and it's a weapon, which gives us a 2, but we need a 3. So we're going to have to spend a life to get the next card, which is strategy, which gives us 2 exchange. So we're going to use that to exchange the food card, which we've already used, to exchange it for another food card with a point with an attack value of 2. So we're going to get 1 more life out of that, and we're going to succeed at this challenge. Okay, so when there's only 1 card left, you draw it and see if you want to fight against it. If you don't, then it just continues on. Further exploring the island. So that's a 5 with 3 cards. Yeah, I think we'll go for that. So first card is draw 2 cards. Then we've got 1 food, so we're going to use this immediately. Gives us another life. And we still get the 1 free draw. Oh gosh, sorry about all the moving of the table. Okay, so this gives us a 1. So now we're at 2. We're going to use the equipment to draw 2 more cards. And we get deception. 1 below the pile. So let's see, now we're at 3 to get a 5. And we get weak. Okay, so we're going to use deception, and we're going to put weak at the bottom of the pile. And we're going to hope that this replacement card is a 2. It's only a 1, which gives us a total of only 4. So we got 4, but we needed 5, so we're going to lose a life. We can at least get rid of something here. I'm not sure anything's really worth getting rid of. The 2 cards is useful, even though it's a 0 fighting cost. This one's just a boring focus, so we'll get rid of that one. Okay, and now we move on to the final phase here. And now everything is at the red difficulty. 3 life, and now we're facing some really big challenges. So 2 8s. No matter which one we choose, we have to get 8. So we can either have 1 times destroy or 1 times exchange. I'll go for exchange. And we got to get an 8 with 3 draws. There's 1. Okay, there's 3, so now we're at 4. Now with 1 more card, we have to get to 8. I don't think I have any 4s. Okay, we get a food, which we can use to get 1 life. And we're going to need to spend a life to see if we get weak. Okay, but now I can use realization to destroy that. Well, actually, that doesn't help. It's not actually a negative card. So that didn't help. We're sitting at 4 to get an 8, and we've only got 3 life now. So actually, I think that means we're dead. Yeah, okay, having 0 life points would be okay, but in this case we'd have -1 life point, so we lose. 2 failures at Robinson Crusoe, but I think you can see it's a pretty fun game, pretty easy to play, so you might want to consider picking that up. You can get that at Cool Stuff Inc. or Amazon or wherever you like to shop, or your friend in the local gaming store, which is probably the best place to get it. Give you many hours of entertainment. It's a little more interesting than just playing solitaire with cards. So thanks for tuning in to watch this video. Sorry that there was no Pathfinder Adventure card game this week. Just like I said, that scenario is really hard. I spent a number of hours trying to get through it. I even changed the roster. So I'll give it some more tries this week, but I wasn't going to be able to get a video up on Sunday. And I wanted to make sure that we at least got a video on Sunday for you guys. And so that's what we did. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.